Mr. Chief Justice, fellow justices, the many judges that are here, Mr. Speaker, Attorney General, my entire cabinet administration, most of the federal delegations, staffs, to the many legislators that are here, to the public, to the friends, to the fans, to the many Vermonters who waited way too long for this moment. Most importantly to Beth and her partner to whom she's married, Kim, and to Bob and Cindy, her mom and dad, who had the good judgment to create her, to her brother Bob, to the entire family that's assembled here. This is one of those rare moments that you get as a governor to make an extraordinary difference in the future of Vermonters, future generations. And I can tell you that there's no decision that I have made more carefully and more thoughtfully than this one. When I thought about the privilege of being a governor who's able to appoint someone to the Supreme Court, I thought about a couple of things. The first is, we all know that with a little bit of luck with one's health, Supreme Court justices survive a lot longer than governors. Second, we also know that this Supreme Court is, in my judgment, the best Supreme Court in America. The Vermont State Supreme Court makes extraordinary judgments that protect people's rights, that make a difference for those that don't have a voice, that historically make huge differences for our democracy and for our citizens. So I took this one seriously. Now, when I knew there was an opening, I was afraid that Beth might apply. And so I immediately did everything I could to try to convince anyone in the many, many senior staff meetings that Beth participated in that no one would ever want to serve here. I even got so desperate as to suggest one time when we came down to swear in some other justices, I came back and I said, you know, the carpet is kind of drab. They don't have fun, and who would ever want to work there? The fact is that I tried everything I could to convince Beth not to apply for this job, because as everyone standing here in my administration can attest, there is no one smarter, there is no one more fair, there is no one more capable, there's no one with a finer legal mind, and there's no one who is more committed to justice, to integrity, and to doing the right thing for all Vermonters than Beth Robinson. So I knew that if she applied and got sent to me by the nominating board, I would have to lose her. So to you, Mr. Chief Justice, and the other great justices of this chamber, I am giving you my greatest gift, and it's an honor to do so. Beth's going to serve this court with extraordinary distinction, and Susan Murray just told the story. So I don't want to go on long, but I do want to mention one thing that Susan didn't mention. In addition to all of Beth's extraordinary qualities, she has an extraordinary ability to bring people together who might be struggling with a decision, and without any sense of righteousness or any sense of being right, she's able to bring people together to make a common decision that's in the best interest of those in the room. And that's important on a 5-member court. So in addition to her extraordinary mind, we're also giving you our best asset at having fun, at making sure that we do it right, and ensuring that we all work together in the best interest of Vermonters. That's the quality that I miss the most, and I think that's the quality that you're going to love the best. I want to say a word about this historic appointment in another way, which is that it is an honor to appoint to the court the first openly gay member of the Supreme Court. And I don't think it should go without mention, although it has nothing to do with Beth's credentials. I do suggest that whenever one has to struggle for whatever reason to get to where they want to be, we are formed by those experiences. And I come from a family born and raised in Vermont where I was born into a family that cares deeply about civil rights. My dad tells the story that I've never told publicly. He was the first in his family to go to college. He went to college because he was on a GI Bill, fought in World War II. He felt extraordinary privilege to get a college education. He happened on the GI Bill and he ended up at a little college in Ohio called Antioch. And in his class were two extraordinary civil rights leaders in their own way. One was Coretta Scott King. The other was a gentleman named Leon Higginbotham, who was the first African-American member of the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. And so I grew up in a family that taught me from their own personal experience about breaking glass ceilings, and ensuring that everybody had an equal voice in the debate. And I do think that this moment is worth recognizing. It's been a long struggle, and there are no group of people who go through discrimination and hatred without a struggle. And it's been a struggle. But think how quickly we have moved, and that we're now in a state where a governor can appoint the first openly gay member of the Supreme Court, and it's not even an issue anymore. You know, just a few years ago, when this court had the good judgment of issuing the Baker decision, it was a different world just 12 years ago. I remember when that decision came down, I was president of the Senate. Michael Bohosky was Speaker of the House. We huddled in the governor's office. The governor at the time was Governor Howard Dean. And I remember picking up the New York Times, top of the full lead story the next day. And it was Governor Dean being quoted. And we'd forgotten this detail. But his first comment was, "This whole thing makes me somewhat uncomfortable." And I suspect it does others too. We've come a long way. We've come a long way. Most of it because of Beth's good work. There were two Baker decisions in my life. One was the Baker decision. The other was after we passed civil unions. I got a call from Mrs. Baker from Brattleboro, who passed away just a few months ago from cancer. The Bakers, I think, would not openly admit that they're rock Republicans. I'm proud of it. And we don't have many of those in Windham County, so we take good care of them. But it was the height of the civil unions debate that she called me. And I thought she was calling me of the many people to say, "Please don't pass that bill." And I picked up the phone and Mrs. Baker said to me, "Senator, please pass that bill." And I was so surprised that I said to her, "Why are you calling? I'm curious as to how you came to your decision." And she said, "Peter, I have a gay son, and I love him. And I want him to have the same opportunities that all of my children have." So that's why we've come so far, because more and more people understand that inclusiveness and respect and ensuring that we stamp out hatred and discrimination is a core value. And they learn that from those that they love and those that they see in power. And therefore, having that on this Supreme Court sends yet another message to all Vermonters that we are a state that includes everybody, and that that's a core value for all Vermonters. So on that note, I simply say this. I'm willing to swear Beth in the Supreme Court. I do so with extreme trepidation because I'm losing her, but extraordinary confidence that she's going to serve this court and this state with extraordinary distinction, courage, good judgment, and brilliance, carrying this court into wonderful and solid decisions. So thank you, Beth, for being here.